this video. This is part 2 of Twin Flame video. I can't remember where I left off on the first one. It was quite early. But I'm just going to go into a little flow. I know that this is going to possibly bring up some questions for people, and I'll do my best to answer the questions to the best of my abilities. I would like to invite everybody just to recognize that I'm saying this with an open heart and from my own perspective. And this is from my own highest aspect that communicates this with me. So I'm going to do some toning, and again, my intention is oneness, unity, benevolence for all, the law of one, frequencies of love. And as we tune in, as we twine in, so to speak, as we chime in, as we twin, as we twist, as we braid into our recognition that we are in, I'm seeing abrasiveness, and I'm seeing people kind of shaving off this abrasiveness and being soft. So this is meant to be said with a gentleness and a softness, because many beings are triggered by this concept, this conceptualization. We are being invited to braid through our own creative aspect. I'm at a stoplight, you guys. Through our own creative experience, wielding together our own knowingness. Mashup. Dur andare hesteshtarak ur. We wield much power in our thoughts, in our electricity, within our magnetism, within our electromagnetic frequency patterning. You guys, this is a reference to the divine feminine and the divine masculine, electrical and magnetic. So the reminder is that the flame and the true truth of the twin is the combination within of the divine masculine and feminine marriage. The divine marriage, it's been referred to as Eros Gamos. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. We invite you to let go of all judgments about all words that we are tapping into within this communication, within this presentation, so to speak. For we are feathering together a multidimensional perspective that has many layers in the communication points, depending on where you sit within your field, meaning the dimensional existence that you are connecting into as you listen, hear, see, feel, know, vibrate within these words, and the energy behind the patterning that we are providing in an effort, play on words, in an effort to reunify certain concepts, to release other conceptualizations that have encapsulated many light workers within a paradigm or program that is creating a resistance in expansion unknowingly. For in letting go of the resistance, this is a play on words also. So I just want to check in briefly. The words that we use are meant to be a living index, constantly evolving and remapping within integrity. And the words that we've used for many years as healers, as light workers, have been morphed and changed from the origination of the context, taken out of context, and misaligned in misappropriation. Yet, it's okay. This is all said with non-judgment. The twining, the twinning, the twin flames are the flames of the heart. And while, because we are in a vibrational holding pattern in which we connect with others on a cellular level, we then recognize the others opposing, I'm seeing a reference to poles, opposite poles, of the feminine masculine swing that has been set off balance for many eons. Once this pole is reset, realigned, the scepter is then, I'm seeing a rod and a staff and a scepter. The receptors, the reception is then shifted and changed and harnessed in a different frequency pattern in which we then are able to recognize the new frequency patterns that are coming in to stir the banks. You guys, I know this is really coded. I will go back and write this down and expand a little bit more on it. I talked about banks, I think, in the first video, so this is a play on that. And quite frankly, I haven't had the chance to dissect all of this, but essentially what is being shown to me is that we see in others a recognition and a spark that ignites the flame within us. And then oftentimes this is mistakenly interpreted as the twin in which we have been lacking in. Then we seek to intertwine what should really be intertwined. And we seek to intertwine with others that are outside of us to fill the gap, the void in this new void, to create a new vibration harmonic, essentially. When in actuality, this merely is a tool to create our own implosion. So back to a little bit of breaking this down or building it up, however you want to look at it. I am my own twin flame. That's it. However, we are all connected to source. Therefore, everyone else is my twin flame, in which I connect with, that assists me in sparking my own implosive DNA expansion, blood, right? Energy sharing. So we reverberate and balance and harmonize off of each other in certain patternings. So that alchemical connection can be felt with anyone. Everyone is source energy, therefore everyone has the potential to be someone else's twin flame. However, that is coming from a multidimensional yet linear perspective. For no one is anyone's twin flame. For we are our own twin flame, established in twining in our own frequency patterning. I'm seeing the helix in the DNA. So this goes back to, we were told that it was something, and that was a good way for us to be creative. When we meet people and it sparks that interest and we think that's my twin flame, then we feel inspired, which helps to create implosion. But that's a closed circuitry system, because that is not coming from within, and we cannot rely on that other person to constantly be our muse or our inspiration. And that is also a play on words. And you guys, again, this is a linear presentation, so I'm going to go deeper. My husband, whom I love very much, is my twin flame. He is my twin flame, and I know this, and I have had confirmation from my highest aspect. He is my twin flame and balances and harmonizes me from one perspective. However, I am my own twin flame. He has assisted me in my own DNA braiding, my own implosion, my own inspiration, and I do not rely on him for the center of my pole of gravity is what's coming through. So a lot of this is code, you guys, and it's not supposed to be taken on a literal. It is multidimensional, but some of it is literal. How's that for confusing? So does that make sense? So I have had moments in my life where I've thought somebody else was my twin flame. Or let me rephrase that. I was looking for someone else thinking, well, is that my twin flame? Is that my twin flame? Well, this person makes me fill in the blanks. That's twin flame relationship. Because of the belief system that I was in, because of the density that I was holding or not holding, because of the dimensional aspect that I was in as I created that story, as I resonated with the story that fit in the box that I was existing in at that time. That box no longer fits, therefore I am no one's twin flame but my own, and whom I choose to ignite as my partner in life, soul flame recognition, which is my husband. Therefore, he will always be my twin flame, and I will always hold that space for him. All others from all past existences and future existences that hold that spark are not real for me in that respect, in that essence of that vibrational aspect, meaning they are not the truth twin flames, and they are distorted because they are coming from a framework that I do not choose, nor do I exist within. And this is across the board. So I say this with love because there are many people out there that have, again, felt obligated to be with someone because, well, they're my twin flame and we have this amazing relationship. Or they feel obligated to find that person who needs to fit into this category. That it doesn't work that way. That's why for so many people it doesn't work. It might have worked that way from one perspective at one time. So they're guiding me to share a little bit about that, the fairy tale again. So if someone's having if you're telling a child a fairy tale and that fairy tale creates with them a spark that makes them feel expansive, then that works for them at that time. But then as that child gets older, that story no longer creates that spark for them because they have expanded their consciousness. And I'm saying this, guys, from the layer that the child has now grown spiritually, not from the layer that they've lost their ability to create bliss. That's a whole other video. So from one layer, let's say the child has grown up and they still have that bliss and that story no longer excites them. Now Mother Nature excites them. Therefore, that is their muse, that is their, this will shift and this will change as we grow and expand, right? Well, Mother Nature should always, because Mother Nature is a part of us. However, our teachers, our guides, and those people that we are drawn to in our lives will not always be the same vibrational match. So light the match and move on. Because it is a misconception and a misperception to keep someone locked in that category, which is us. That is non-existent. It is not real, and it is not the truth of who either of you are anymore, or perhaps ever were. Because in doing this, we're changing the past. Because everything is happening now. Oh, I'm getting really multidimensional here, guys. I know this is a deep one for me. So if I change my relationship, I am come into my own empowerment and sovereignty whereas before I wasn't there. Okay? I'm now changing my past relationships. So all beings that I was attached to before, I don't have those attachments to them anymore. Nor should I have the obligation, nor do they. If they choose to think that they do, that is their own distortion and misconception, and that is their own, that is on them, right? Now, I say this with love. This isn't like, oh, you know, this is basically what we're all growing into. We're all growing up from these concepts that have been passed down generation after generation that were just a little distorted from the original meaning. The original word, the original vibration. And what has happened is that has then created a feeling of separation and fragmentation, which I talked about in the first video, rather than the fractal in one, right? So that's the biggest message that wants to come through. I'm going to break this down into a shorter video for the next video. So I hope that answers some questions about all this. I hope that is not too confusing, but again, a lot of the wording that I'm using is meant to be spoken in flow. This is a universal expectation in many different, they're showing, what I'm being shown is like, it's not just the twin flame that this has happened with. It's happened with, galactic history. It's happened with, I'm gonna pause. I don't want to get into religion, but it's happened with the, you know, 10 dimensions or 10 layers of the tree of life when it's actually 12. Well, I think it's even more expansive than that, to be honest, but it's happened with the chakra system. You know, let's say we were told, all right, I'm just pausing for a moment. Stopping. Let's say we were told that the chakra system, you know, for our whole life, we've thought as a spiritual teacher, let's say back, you know, in whatever year it was and whatever lifetime it was, that there's only 7 or 8 chakras. And then we find out, whoa, there's hundreds of them. So again, it's this whole concept of how open are we willing to be and let go of these old constraints. So I'm going to end on that note, and there's so much more to share, and I just trying to keep short videos so that everybody can kind of take this in chunks. And much love and light. I'm going to do another one in more flow with more light language to help kind of clear, I shouldn't even say that. Let me rephrase that. To help create a space in which we can all feel sovereign. That's my intention. What's that song? Freedom, I won't let you down. So let go of, put back your picture in a frame. Let go of all that stuff that's in a frame that is what we think things should be, or what our guides, what we think our guides have told us. That might have been right too. But now that might have even shifted. You guys, I have things that my communication with my spirit team told me a year ago. It's different now, because everything's different now, because we've changed the past, because everything's happening now, which means, of course, we're changing the future. And if everything happens in a circle, then how can anything be the same as it was a year ago, 5 months ago, 6 months ago? Let's just throw that one out there for a spinner. In love and light, you guys. I know this is a goofy video, but it's really important. This is what I'm being really guided to really just keep going deeper and deeper into this. So thank you so much for sharing this now moment with each other in oneness and unity and sovereignty. Namaste.